What's going on with Maresca, man? What's going on with Maresca, man?
Look at that face. Look at that face. Look at that face.
You know what? We're having a game on the floor right now. I do like Maresca actually. I wasn't too set on him when he first joined, admittedly, because I didn't really watch too much of Leicester last season, so I wasn't too certain with him. But I like what he's doing. I feel like in these circumstances, we're just having a bit of a bad run, and we're so focused on the Premier League that the other competitions don't really matter. We're like blitzing the Conference League, but that's just because of like a talent difference. That doesn't really mean much. The FA Cup, the League Cup, they don't really take it seriously. That Maresca said from the start of the season that top four is the aim. Everything else is like not really important. So we lost the game.
What you put down this? Because ever since there's two games for me that started this: is the Ipswich game and the Fulham game. Yeah. Ever since then, there's like been a poison and an infection that just all the kind of worms from your previous season, the old habits are starting to show themselves again. Certain players not doing certain things, not looking as sharp.
I disagree. I just think that Chelsea overperformed at the start of the season by a country mile. Nobody expected Chelsea to be in a title race come the start of the season. And then for like the first 15 games, our name was still getting mentioned. So now we're just finally plateauing and going back to more or less the level that we're supposed to be at. We're supposed to challenge for top four. We're not supposed to be challenging for the title. So now we're just the level that we're supposed to be. We started off great. Maybe we had the new manager bounce. There were some new players in that other teams maybe sort of forgot until they didn't really realize the expertise. Nicholas Jackson was playing above what we considered his level. Sanchez played a bit better than what his level is. He's now gone back to his normal self. Chelsea's right now is where we're supposed to be. Challenging for top four, trying to make top four, and potentially getting knocked out in the FA Cup in the first round by a team like Brighton.
How long do you expect to be talented, considering the investment? I don't know if it's fair to ask this because Maresca's only been there for half a season, but considering the level of investment, how can you be £1 billion deep and have a squad like this that still looks like it's got holes in it? Like,
it's all because they're new. They have to gel together. There's no team cohesion yet because the players are new. Once the team start gelling together and they start playing with each other in a more like consistently and understand each other better, then we're gonna start really challenging for teams. We're gonna be up there with Liverpool and what Man City were last season. I think this season we're challenging for top four. Top four is the aim. We should be winning the conference, even though it's not important, but it'll still be nice to just have another trophy. Next season, we want to be like an established top four, perhaps maybe getting close to that title race, and then the season after that is when we expect to be challenging for the title.
Okay, guys, I want to hear from Jack and Dan. Do you guys think that Chelsea have got the platform of players to go on and do something? Like, do you look at Palmer, Levi Colwill, the elements of their spine, Enzo, Caicedo, Nicholas Jackson? Do you look at that and be like, that's got something in it that could take them to where they want to be ultimately, which is Prem Champions League again? Right? What do you guys think?
Nah. I mean,
not
nah.
I mean, Teya, do you? I mean, you just said it yourself, right? All those players are going back to their own level, so you don't even, you don't even agree with it, really. I think.
Listen,
no, go on.
From the start of the season, my mind hasn't changed. We need a goalie and we need a centre forward. Nicholas Jackson is good, but he's not a top four striker. He's having a better season than I expected him to be fair, but he isn't a top four striker.
Is it just a new striker and a keeper then? Because like you just said about Maresca as well, like being, you weren't sure of him at the start, and you're getting to a point now you're saying that you're plateauing. So is it in terms of like eventually you're going to need a new manager as well as a new goalkeeper and a new striker?
I'm happy. I'm happy with Maresca. I'm happy with Maresca. Like I said, like I didn't actually know much about him, but I feel like Chelsea
Well,
have been through so many managers.
Leicester
Chelsea have been
fans
through
weren't
so
that
many
keen on
managers.
him. Leicester fans weren't
And
that
but
keen on
didn't
him.
didn't he win? Didn't he win the championship for them anyway?
Yeah, exactly, and they weren't keen on him, which
The
really
only thing,
that's
that they did say was second half of the season there was a large drop off, but it was almost the same as this. Like
wasn't
they
it.
won the league
Yeah.
in the first 3 quarters of the season, then the second half, the last quarter was like, whoa, we limped over the line.
Listen,
Kind
I
of
mean
thing.
Chelsea's gone through so many managers. So realistically, who can we get?
Yeah, but you can't have another one, man. You can't
Is
get
that is
another
who
one.
can we get? So if they want to try Maresca, then I'm all for it. I just think that no team is going to win the Premier League with Robert Sanchez as their main goalie.
Oh yeah,
And I
Yeah.
like Nicholas Jackson, but Nicholas Jackson is too young. In 4 years, Nicholas Jackson might be a Premier League winning striker. He might be the centre forward that can take you there, but he's too young. Like if you compare the main goal threat for Man City, Erling Haaland, the main goal threat for Liverpool, Salah, the main goal threat for Newcastle, Isaac, and then you compare him to Chelsea's main goal threat in Nicholas Jackson, there's just such a big difference. So if Chelsea's trying to win the Premier League, we do need a better striker. But like I said, Chelsea weren't expecting to win the Premier League this season. We were expecting to challenge for top four. Nicholas Jackson is a striker that you kind of have about challenging for top four, but you wouldn't necessarily get you top four. If Chelsea had Isaac, top four would have been done and dusted already, and we'd be challenging
yeah,
for the Premier League. And if we had a goalie in like Donnarumma, maybe that would make such a difference. But we've got Robert Sanchez, which I think is the main issue in Chelsea's back line. If we get that sorted, we get the striker sorted. Cucurella has sort of found his form, which is great for him. Reece James is obviously always a bit injured, but we have Malagusto who's doing a bit well there. We just needed to get a world class goalie or a top tier goalie. And I mentioned Donnarumma because I feel like at some point this guy's going to want to leave PSG. And then
yeah.
we got a solid centre forward. I'm hearing Isaac's available for 150 M's. I think that's a fair deal for Isaac. Go out and get him, or find another striker that they can maybe kind of poach and bring maybe Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. That'd be another good one, or someone else. If they can do that, replace the striker, replace the goalie. I think Chelsea is on to something brilliant.
That was like
Ah,
4 or 5 signings you just mentioned
yeah,
there.
no, that's correct.
Just
That was
one
like 4
goalie and
5
one
signings.
striker. The options are there. Just one striker and one goalie.
And
Replace them.
You trust Maresca to get the most out of them as well, yeah?
Listen, I trust the board in it. I trust the board. The board are doing Moneyball, and I heard at the start of the season that they wanted Duran. I heard they wanted Duran. I
Yeah, they did
didn't
that.
watch Duran too much last season, and I was confused as to why they wanted Duran. And when I saw Duran play this half of the season, and I thought back to how Chelsea wanted him, and I just thought, whatever the scouts are for Chelsea, they're doing a good job, and I trust the scouts. The scouts wanted Duran. He's having a brilliant season, so I trust him moving forward. You mentioned about the signings. The way I see it is this: to sign Cole Palmer for what, 40 million. How much would Cole Palmer cost you now? It's just a game of like they're buying 5, 6, 7 players, and if one of the players comes good, it's the whole investment is good.
Can I ask you a
They're
question? Who
gambling.
do you think? Who do you think? Let's
It's
say
Moneyball. That's what it's called. It's called Moneyball.
who's
It's a system in
Chelsea's.
America. Don't forget. Don't
Mhm.
forget that the board are Americans. They're going off like baseball and stuff. This is what they do in baseball. They're going off stats. I don't know what system they're using. I just know it's called Moneyball and it's working. The way Cole Palmer, they got Cole Palmer.
It's called Football
He's already
Manager.
he Cole Palmer Cole Cole Palmer has made all the money that was spent last season worth it on that one signing. And if he had gone and signed Iran for 25 million, we would have made a 50 million profit if he just sold him to Saudi already. Or I think he would have been enough as like a centre forward. So I trust the board in what they're doing now. Next season, next summer, they're going to go spend a lot more money, but I feel like the signings that we make are going to be a lot better.
So who do you think Chelsea's 3 best players are? And I want to hear it from the rest of you guys as well.
Oh, 3 best players.
Yeah.
I
Well, we're on
like
the one.
obviously we got Cole Palmer. We got Cole Palmer out here doing his thing. I like Casado. Casado's having a good form. For this season, I would say Nicholas Jackson would be in there. just because he's having a good season, but that's not going to last. He's in a good run of form. Cucurella's having a good season, but do I trust Cucurella to be consistent each season? Not really. So I don't know. It's a tough one. Cole Palmer.
So you're saying you trust Chelsea's recruitment, but your 3 best players, Nicholas Jackson, you reckon is in your top 3.
But
how much did Nicholas Jackson cost? Yeah, but how much did Nicholas Jackson cost us? He wasn't expensive.
Doesn't matter.
So
yeah, you still brought him in.
Doesn't matter.
Like I said, no. I think Nicholas Jackson is good. I think Nicholas Jackson is good. I just don't think Nicholas Jackson is a title-winning striker. That's just the difference. He's not a title-winning striker. He's a good striker, and if he was happy to be a sub, I would love him to be there. And the thing is because he's young, he's like 22 years old. When he's 26, he might be a top-level striker. I just don't want to wait for him to turn 26 before we start challenging. That's the issue with Nicholas Jackson.
Do you think it's completely justified to be able to be spending this much money on at the transfers that you do, and then still be at this point in the season, unsure? I mean, I couldn't even name. I was literally struggling to think of who would be my top 3, because obviously you'd say Palmer and Caicedo, but then past that, it's all like that third one. You're all going.
I go. Pedro Neto is up there. I think he's brought a lot of energy to the team. Pedro Neto, going forward, he's very injury prone, which is a risk. But Pedro Neto needs a mention because he's brought loads of energy in there. In order, I guess. Palmer, Neto, and Cucurella, I think, for me.
Really,
I like Pedro. I like Pedro Neto. I like Pedro Neto a lot. He just doesn't really play enough for Chelsea at this moment. He should start more games.
You think Neto's better than Caicedo?
If we're being brutally honest, Pedro Neto's not converting enough.
Nah,
he doesn't play enough. He comes in as a sub.
He's not taking enough games by the scruff of the neck for you. Like what he can. You can't.
Fair. I haven't watched too much Chelsea, but I know that he at least brings energy, and he's kind of brought a bit of an impact going forward.
He was so much better.
We have a lot of rotation as well, so it's hard to pick a top 3 because there's so much rotation. It's a difficult one.
But guys, you should be able to just go bosh, free.
But then
the clear.
They make money at the same time. It's like Felix has gone to AC Milan. The South Gallagher, they made a good profit on him. They spend money, then they make money back. It's just the way it is, and I think so far it's working. There's only been 2 seasons maybe. I feel like when Bowley came in, they started off poor. They really started off poor. But I feel like this season they've got it because their aim could only be to challenge the top 4, and this is what they're doing.
You have 100% improved from last season. There are games. There are games now that last season that you were losing, and people were. It got to a point where people were expecting you to go to teams who was the relegation teams last season. I'm sure you lost the majority of them, but you've got to this point this season. You're seeing off games.
I remember Wisa trying 3 overhead kicks and
eventually scoring the 4th one.
I remember
the one bad signing that I think Chelsea's done is Robert Sanchez. Because why he signed him for 25 million, I do not know. I was baffled. He wasn't even a first team for Brighton at that point. He became a sub. We didn't need to spend 25 million on him. Brighton would have took 10 million.
Taya, could I ask you something? I was having an argument at the start of the season with my Chelsea mate. Do you think Aaron Ramsdale is better than Robert Sanchez?
Oh, Aaron Ramsdale, Robert Sanchez. Aaron Ramsdale always gets relegated.
Ramsdale is clear.
You know what?
Sanchez.
I would prefer Aaron Ramsdale. I just don't think there's that much of a difference.
I can see that.
I would prefer Aaron Ramsdale. If it was one or the other, I would prefer Aaron Ramsdale. I'd rather spend 25 million on Aaron Ramsdale than Robert Sanchez. And Aaron Ramsdale's English, so that would probably it's homegrown. That would probably be better. But yeah, I think both of them are poor. But I think Aaron Ramsdale's better.
Okay.
Aaron Ramsdale is better. So yeah.
Good. My Chelsea mate is obviously very much in terms of thinking Sanchez is better, which I think is crazy.
I think maybe like 3-4 years ago when I remember Sanchez was better, but there was a point for Brighton when Sanchez got dropped for Brighton, and at that point when he got dropped, that's because there was like
For
a
Jason
fall off in his
Steele.
performances. There was a fall off in his performances. Before then, it was a decent goalie, like a top half goalie maybe. Even now, you can argue he's a mid-table goalie, but obviously you can't have a mid-table goalie and then won a challenge for Champions League or challenge for top 4 places. It doesn't really make sense, and that's the issue that Chelsea's having now. It's like you mentioned earlier with the spine. You need a goalie, striker, centre backs, and the centre mids.